Hi, it's Angelica Gonzalez again, doing Screencast for Unit number 12. Uh, we were asked to go over our weather observations from Unit 10 and comparing it over to the weather maps that were provided to us for Unit 12 when looking at weather and determining the forecast for the week of March 22nd to March 30th, so back-to-back Sundays. So we're looking at certain fronts, Auckland, warm and cold fronts. We're looking at air pressure and how the isobars help determine certain weather patterns. One thing that really helped with this unit was definitely the maps provided and comparing them to our Unit 10 observations at our sites that we made during that week. So my observations again, they started on March 24th and they ended up on the 28th of March. So on Friday was my last day of observations. So even though I didn't do observations on Sunday 3/22 or Monday 3/23, I think it's really important to take a look at the weather starting off in that week. As you can see, we have a warm to cold front going across the state, and we have some high pressure winds over up towards the west of the map on Sunday, and we have our Auckland front coming in towards up from southeast. So again, we can see that the wind pressure is definitely high, and we don't even see low pressure until it's get closer down to the bottom near the peninsula is where we're starting to see our low pressure. And definitely this is the time during the interior where it was getting a lot warmer. Again, I did my observations in Fairbanks, more centralized into the city. So we're definitely starting to see a weather pattern change where it's starting to get warmer. Again, as you can see, on Tuesday was the first day that I did my weather observations, was on the first day, and so we can definitely see the winds changing patterns. Excuse me, changing patterns, and definitely that cold to warm front definitely is not, it's not seen at the time. So we're definitely starting to see a change pattern in the winds. The winds are definitely affecting more of the coastline of Alaska, starting from Dead Horse, ending all the way down to Dillingham and Bethel. And we definitely see some high pressures coming in, and we're starting to see the low pressure. It's coming up towards Cook Inlet with the isobar pressure of 975, and we're starting to see the Auckland front coming up towards the North Pacific as well. At this time, you can see that there's no clouds in Fairbanks, and the first day I did my observations, I had a max temperature of 24 degrees and a minimum temperature of 14 degrees, and at that day I could not sense any cloud coverage. Moving on, we have the forecast of what was expected, and again, you can see that the wind pattern starting to change. It's moving now towards the southerly is now coming down towards the middle of the interior, and we're starting to see a little bit of showers, a little bit of snow and rain showers, and at the time we did see a little bit of sleet, and it wasn't too bad, but it was still pretty warm. And again, minimum cloud coverage, and the Auckland Auckland front is definitely coming up through southeast Alaska, and we're starting to see a lower pressure, and the high pressure at this time it's more towards Russia, and definitely the other sense of our high pressure is going towards Canada at the time. Again, we're having a little bit of cloud coverage, and that's when we were seeing a little bit of cloud coverage. Again, when we started getting that cloud coverage, though, the temperature in the interior definitely skyrocketed from 24 to 41 degrees max. So that was really awesome. Again, that low pressure is definitely kind of creeping up more towards the peninsula, towards the Aleutian Islands. And again, that Auckland front is still right near southeast. And so we have that cloud coverage pretty much in the interior as well, giving us relatively warm weather still. Again, my max was 40 degrees and my minimum was 23 degrees. And we definitely saw that max at the height of the middle of the day. And the minimum was definitely early morning and into the night. So that was still, it was pretty nice. Again, light cloud coverage, and there is no sense of wind at this time. Actually, in the whole state of the Alaska, we definitely see some showers, some rain showers heading towards Cook Inlet in the southeast Alaska, and we did see, obviously there were some snow showers and cloud coverage on the Aleutian Islands as well. So, so then on today's weather, so the two maps before were just a forecast of what the weather would be, and it was pretty spot on, I feel like, in Fairbanks or in the interior. Now we're definitely seeing that Auckland front still near southeast, and now it's moving towards Cook Inlet, towards Anchorage and Kenai and Soldotna, and Dillingham as well. So then we have some low pressure coming in towards the Aleutian Islands more and heading up from the North Pacific. At this time, we're starting to get a little bit more winds towards the interior. Again, doing my weather observation, I didn't really sense any wind, but I know that the weather station did say that there were slight winds, and a lot of people reported that they did see some wind, and they rated some of their Beaufort scale maybe a 1 or 2, if that. Again, the winds are starting to now move northwest, and again, some people did report, and even the weather station at the airport said that there was a slight wind. Again, there's low pressure near the Aleutian Islands, and that Auckland front definitely went from southeast, and it's heading back towards the North Pacific. So we saw some sense of winds coming just because of all that pressure, the low pressure. But again, that low pressure brought in a lot of warm weather, and even in Fairbanks or the interior, we definitely saw, again, really great weather. My weather pretty much stood pretty steady during the day, reaching maxes of 42 to 41 degrees max. But then at night, and we're in the early morning, my minimum definitely jumped up a whole 10 degrees. It went from being a low of 23.6 to a high of 30.5 on my 4th day. So that was really nice. So again, that was on today's weather. So then moving on to the forecast that was predicted, we definitely, again, the winds were moving more towards the interior, and we definitely started seeing a lot more warmer weather, even up north towards Dead Horse. Again, that Auckland front is moving towards southeast Alaska with, again, really low pressure heading towards Cook Inlet and towards Dillingham and Bethel. There was obviously snow, and even when looking at my own observations, or when I was doing this assignment, at first it was really difficult for me to figure out figure out how to read the weather. But I ended up, just remembering the difference between high and low pressure, and that low pressure really did bring in significantly warmer weather, and we did see warmer weather, which was really nice. At least in the interior, we definitely saw it. And it's kind of nice to have a visualization of what the weather looked like. Again, even when I was doing my average daily temperature, Fairbanks definitely was forecasted to be a max of 25 to 27, and we definitely, it skyrocketed, and actually it stood pretty much the same. So, again, this one was kind of crazy. it took me a while to kind of figure out which way the winds were coming, where were they going, and you can definitely see that we definitely had low pressure. You can't even see any high pressure at this point for the forecast for 2 days from them, and so that was going to be on Sunday 3/29. So this was the last day for a lot of people doing their observations, and again, with that low pressure, we're seeing a lot of rain and a lot of rain showers towards the Aleutian Islands and Cook Inlet, and just remembering, just talking to friends that lived in Anchorage and Chugiak, and they said that the weather was significantly really warm. They saw a lot of rain, and I believe this is when we were doing our, we were getting ready for the Yukon Quest, or the Yukon Quest was getting close to end, or one of the dog sleds were ending, and they had to move it to Fairbanks because there just wasn't enough snow. So, again, you can sense why with that low pressure and wind. Again, you can see that on the actual day of Sunday, there's still that severe low pressure with those rain showers that were predicted for the Aleutians, except now we're starting to see a little bit of high pressure up towards Russia and an awkward front that is probably hitting the tip of the Aleutian Islands of Alaska. Again, we're seeing a lot of cloud coverage and a lot of low pressure, and it's still bringing in a lot of warm. It brought in a lot of warm weather. Even up towards Dead Horse, we have some fog up towards Dead Horse and Barrow. But again, nothing. The weather stood pretty relatively nice, at least for the interior. You can definitely sense that there was a change of weather, drastic weather change, even with the Auckland front moving from southeast to Cook Inlet towards the Aleutian Islands, and now it's definitely moved, and even that cold front that we were seeing, we didn't even have a cold front or a warm front really, but that low pressure definitely did bring in a lot of warm weather, and unfortunately we didn't see any snow, but it was nice to get a lot of that snow melted from the winter. So alright, so this is, again, my name is Angelica, and this is my screencast for unit number 12. Have a good one. Bye.